The Toyota Yaris, a fuss-free small car long famed for its reliability and rock-bottom running costs, if little else. It was a car best suited to slow, city driving, allowing you to sit pretty in the knowledge that every time you came to a stop, its hybrid system would cut the engine, saving fuel and protecting the planet. The hybrid system was once a USP for the Yaris, but now others, like the latest Renault Clio and new Honda Jazz, have joined the fold, meaning the Toyota needs to smarten up its act.
Given the company's success with the new Toyota Corolla and the Prius, we've high hopes that this stereotype Super Mini has finally come of age. It even looks quite cool. I mean, look at it. Nice, squat, planted appearance, and in some ways, it's even a bit sporty. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This new Yaris is going to have to pull out all the stops if it's going to topple class favourites like the Ford Fiesta, the Volkswagen Polo, and Car Buyer's 2020 Car of the Year, the Renault Clio. Got a lot to unpick in this video review, but before we do, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the Car Buyer YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video.
This new 4th generation Yaris certainly has the right ingredients to make it a success in the small car market. While most rivals are only just starting to dabble in mild hybrid assistance, a small electrical motor designed to reduce load on the engine, Toyota ploughs on with its full hybrid system, which, it claims, will allow owners to do 50% of urban journeys purely on electricity. All this technology comes at a price, however, with even basic models costing almost £20,000. Of course, most buyers in this area of the market will be looking at PCP deals, and thanks to some attractive 0% APR deals on the Yaris, it looks far more competitive if you want to buy in this way.
And it doesn't really matter which version you go for because every model gets a touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a great thing because it allows you to navigate around Toyota's usually clunky infotainment system. Elsewhere, you get a reversing camera, climate control, and a suite of the latest safety kit. The dashboard on the whole looks a lot more sophisticated than it did on the previous version, with this new touchscreen moved to the top of the dash rather than being plumbed into it. Now, quality is a bit questionable. In places, you've got some scratchy plastics on the dash and on the doors, but on the whole, it's a big step up from what went before. In addition to that touchscreen infotainment system and reversing camera, base Icon models get alloy wheels, automatic lights and wipers, and a height adjustable driver's seat. There are a number of option packs, but just for a few extra quid a month, you can upgrade to design trim, bringing a slightly larger screen, LED lights and privacy glass, while dynamic cars like ours feature 17-inch wheels, the JBL 8-speaker stereo, synthetic leather sports seats, dual-zone climate control, and keyless entry. If you prefer a more luxurious take on the Yaris formula, Excel switches some of the dynamic model's dark trim for lighter grey fabric, while also adding some satin chrome trim to the exterior. But for many buyers in this area of the market, practicality is just as important as a lengthy kit list, and in this area, the Yaris falls ever so slightly short. In here, you've got 281 litres to play with, which is pretty much within touching distance of the Ford Fiesta, but a little bit short of class leaders like the Volkswagen Polo and the Renault Clio. But of course, this being a hybrid rather than a fully electric car means there are no cables to contend with. It's unusual for a new car to be smaller than the model it replaces, but with this new Toyota Yaris, that is the case. However, the wheelbase is longer. That's the distance between the front and the rear wheels. It's 50mm longer, which does improve cabin space. Now, adults be perfectly happy up front, but if, like me, you're 6 foot tall, then you're going to struggle in the back. Knee room is not that great, and my head is touching the ceiling. If you regularly carry tall passengers, they'll thank you for buying a Clio instead.
There is only one engine available to UK-based Yaris buyers. While other markets get a non-hybrid 1-litre petrol, the only option here is the super frugal 1.5 hybrid. Toyota originally touted as much as 105 miles to the gallon, but since launch the maker has published a much more realistic 68.9 mpg figure with CO2 emissions of less than 100 grams per kilometre. While that means class-leading company car tax, it can't compete with the pure electric Renault Zoe in this regard. All models come with a 5-year 100,000 mile warranty, a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, and driver power data to make its rivals weep. Toyota owners tend to be a very happy bunch.
The old Toyota Yaris sat flat last in the class for driver fun. The hybrid system was sluggish, the gearbox was a shambles, and body control was loose enough for even the hardiest stomachs to churn during faster cornering. But this new one is based on Toyota's acclaimed TNGA platform, which means it shares many parts with the CHR crossover and the Corolla family hatch. That means this car is much stiffer without affecting things like comfort or refinement. The Yaris's engine produces a total of 114 brake horsepower, which means it should be good enough to get from 0 to 62 miles an hour in less than 10 seconds, which in most circumstances should be enough for Super Mini buyers. The electrical assistance blends in nicely and makes it feel alert off the line, which really helps when nipping in and out of gaps in traffic. Now, Toyota says that this car will do around 50% of its journeys around town on electric power alone. There is an EV button, but unless the battery is properly charged, you won't even be able to use that function. Now, however, this does act as just a normal hybrid, so when you're pottering around town, you will feel like you're just driving around on electricity. It's a relaxing way to drive, and it offers plenty of punch. Elsewhere, the gearbox is a huge improvement on what went before, so it's still a CVT, so that's a continuously variable transmission, but there's much less of that rubber band effect where the revs soar and the engine noise really increases. Around town, it performs just like a normal automatic, so that's to say it's smooth and really easy to live with. It's perhaps not that well suited to spirited driving, but that really isn't what this car is built for. But that's not a criticism that we can level at this car's chassis. Body control is excellent and the ride is pretty well judged. In fact, this new Yaris feels like it could do with a big chunk more power, which bodes well for that forthcoming hot hatch variant.
The new Toyota Yaris is night and day better than what went before it, but if you're thinking of buying one or considering one of its rivals, what are the deal makers and the deal breakers? The Yaris could save you a bucket load of cash if you do a lot of your driving in town. Better still, it has the ability to slash your tax bill too. The Yaris is better to drive than ever with a relaxing hybrid system and the ability to run on electric power for short bursts. It will handle the odd motorway trip too. This dynamic spec test car gets LED lights, a touchscreen, climate control, alloy wheels, keyless entry, synthetic leather seats and a JBL stereo. This new Yaris is actually smaller than its predecessor and the boot isn't as big as on some rivals. We just wish it was a bit more exciting in here. Toyota persists with its slow touchscreen, but at least you can bypass the dated graphics with standard fit Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
As we said at the start of this video, this new Yaris on paper at least has all the ingredients to make it one of the best small cars money can buy. And you know what? It very nearly nails it. It's perhaps not quite as big or as spacious inside as some of its rivals, but on the flip side you get class-leading running costs, a strong kit list and a driving experience that's very much on par with cars in this class. No longer a tax-busting one-trick pony, this new Yaris is back at its best.
If you found this video useful, then why not watch our Renault Clio review and our Super Minis playlist. Thanks for watching.